Good afternoon from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. It's the 4th of July, American Independence Day, just a little bit earlier because Australia runs ahead of your time, as we're twirling around the planet in the space-time continuum. I think we're ahead of you by about, 9 hours or so, or 12 hours, I'm not sure. But we're in your future, America. It's 3:21 p.m. I've just got back from picking up my CPAP, my lone CPAP mask and CPAP device for my sleep apnea, so I'll be starting that treatment tonight. Wish me luck. It's going to be a rough few nights getting used to that, I suppose, and well, anyway. If it works, I have an opportunity to have a semblance of a normal life. My normal, not yours, because mine will never be as normal as yours, people of Earth. But at least I'll be breathing through the night, right? Which will help resolve, my bladder issues and help resolve the chronic exhaustion. And with more energy, well, people of Earth, or Mama T, wait a minute here. Could be even more delightfully dangerous than ever before, babies. But we'll see. We won't get our hopes up too much. I'm trying it for a month, and if it's no good and doesn't work, it's no good. And if it works, the machine costs $1,400. I got the second one down because the top of the range was $2,000, and she said there's no real difference except that the more expensive one just has Bluetooth and fancy screen and all this bells and whistles, but basically does the exact same job. So I'm not wasting money on frivolous things I don't really need. Oh, my beautiful doctor is, willing to pay for it, but I don't want to waste his money. And think of the diamonds I could have bought for $1,400. But then diamonds don't keep you breathing, babies. They might keep you gasping with delight, but they don't help you breathe. So we're going the practical, pragmatic route. $1,400. That could have bought me a third of the way to a rolling machine for my silversmithing. It could have bought me. I could have done so many marvellous things with $1,400, but it was never my money to begin with. So I've been capricious and careful, trying to save my doctor a bit of money, and it's all happening in a far out way. Oh, but I had to laugh. I'll show you. I'll go and get it. I'll show you. The mask. I had a vision or some messaging a few weeks ago of a rhinoceros beetle. And I wrote it down, recorded it on my Facebook, because I keep a note of these things, because you never know what they're going to mean, what they signify, am I right? Wow, you ready for a good laugh? The things we do for love, the things we do for love. I'm doing this for the love of my esteemed doctors who are determined to keep me alive. Personally, I couldn't give a flying fuck one way or the other, to be honest, and they know that. I'm just so tired of struggling. But if this means that I get to walk around looking like a rhinoceros beetle for however long it takes to cure my sleep apnea, then so be it. But don't you find that funny, how my spirits send me messages and they seem at the time a bit like, what the fuck is that, spirits? Like, it's just weird. No, they knew I was about to have to look like a rhinoceros beetle every night while I was asleep. And the other lovely thing was the lady that served me was Scottish. And she says, oh, I know it's not very sexy, Tanya. And I was like, man, I've been celibate for 10 years. What's the difference either way? I'll just go another 10 years. And unbeknownst to her, I'm fucking devastated because I was hoping to revivify my sexual life at long last. But no, the gods have decreed that instead of me having mad, passionate love with a beautiful, loving man, I have to look like fucking Darth Vader's rhinoceros version of Darth Vader for the next however long it takes. So, I'm surprised and delighted by the gift of life from my worthy psychiatrist, but I'm also a little bit pissed off at the same time. It's always yin and yang with me, light and dark, moving through the cosmos, spiraling into infinity, dragging my hobbit body along with my trusty birdie by my side, cheering me on too. Do you think we can do it, Charlie? Do you think we can do it? If we can heal ourselves, we might not need that sleep machine ever again if I can get my weight down. And if we can't, Mama's just going to have to look like that for the rest of her life and cohabit with a fetishist who's turned on by women who look like rhinoceros beetles. I'm sure there's a lid for every pot in it. I mean, let's just look on the bright side of life. Oh my goddess. Oh, poor Mama T. Just when things were starting to look interesting too. Oh, you have to laugh. Well, anyway, Mama's going to be a good girl a bit longer and just keep on breathing, keep on dancing, keep on loving the multiverses and quietly observing the multiverses love me back, sending me all these signs and portents. Am I right, Charlie? Oh, the other exciting thing, a friend of mine who's a published author, Deborah Starr, I wanted to support her as a Facebook friend. We haven't met in person, but I like to support my friends with their endeavours too. And I, in turn, like to be supported in my small impacts on planet Earth. Anyway. So I bought her book, Escape to Woodshine. Haven't read it yet, obviously, it just arrived, but that'll keep me busy for a while. And by the gods, puffed now. We're cooking on gas, people of Earth. We're cooking on gas. Just imagine if I get well, I could perhaps write my own book and make some money, maybe. I'm told there's no money in writing anymore, but never mind. I could do something that might create some kind of wealth stream for me and help me fulfill my dreams of perhaps travelling the world one day or getting myself into a better position. But let's not be living in fairyland too much, Titania's realm. We have to get real, we have to stay real, we have to be real, we have to live in the real world, and I'll just plod along day by day, bit by bit, as I have always, as I've always done, and let the magic happen. Am I right? So today's offerings at the 4th of July is entitled Mustang Quay. That means wild horse woman in the Ojibwa language. And Mad Hatter equals happiness. Happiness, people of Earth. And here she is from 2011. Who's that girl I barely recognize? Tell me. There she is. Yes. Sweet. 2011, people of Earth. That was 13 years ago. You see some of my necklaces there. I know, Charlie. I hardly remember that woman. That wonderful woman that no one loved enough. Oh, smallest violin. But anyway, never mind. I was rebuilding my life throughout that awful evil. You can even see I'm all swollen and puffed up on the face. And that awful will dispute. But anyway, we got through that. And we've got 18 months to get through this sleep apnea remedy journey. My doctor says we'll give it 18 months, try and get your weight down, get you well again, Tanya. And then my life can begin at long last. How many beginnings have I attempted in my life? Complete from almost near-death experiences and having to climb back from that abyss. It's too much. I'm exhausted. I'm really exhausted. But you know what? Look, that little chickie babe there 13 years ago struggled on, and I can keep struggling on, babies. With a little bit of help from my friends, my doctors, and who knows what the future holds. Mama T can do anything. Anyway, here we are, 4th of July, 2023, 1 year ago, 11:33 a.m. It's a cold and rainy morning. I woke up at 8 a.m. I put Charlie outside as it was not raining, but now it's pouring down. I had to bring her back inside. Poor love, but she doesn't mind the cold and rain. The first thing she did this morning when I put her outside was give herself a bird bath in the freezing cold and rain. Weird little bird, but delightful. I stayed in bed until now, cosseted on my electric blanket, but I am out of bed, dressed and happening in a far out way. Yes, I am. Oh dear goddess. Oh dear goddess, all this 21 years untreated sleep apnea, dragging my exhausted ass around while doing the wild dance every weekend, or most weekends anyway. I don't know how I've done it. I don't know how I've done all this. Anyway. I wrote a comment on, let me find out what the comment's on. An article, Macron fiddled while France burned, by Robert Malone MD, substack.com. I commented on the article. Disenfranchised youth have a lot to be angry about. Glyphosate, DDT, a certain bioengineered interference in our pristine body autonomies, have ripped their future out from under them. In fact, it's amazing they found the will or the spirit to write at all. Got their heads out of their screens for even 5 minutes to look around and smell the hummus. These are dangerous, poisonous times. Just recently discovered there's PFOS, plastic chemicals, in our water supply, and it's been there for 10 years at least. Filter your water, people of Earth, especially in Brisbane, Australia, where they're just so fucking malevolent and malignant and dangerous. These are dangerous, poisonous times, but they are not new. I survived worse shit than this in the 90s, with 2 prepubescent children and zero money and no protection when we were under constant active threat for 18 months. And for my advocacy, I am called gullible and stupid, which is really fucking ironic, as I knew this was coming. Oh yes, I did. There is always an end game, an upping of the ante with tyrannical governments and their brainwashed brainwashed asses. Always. So now as a collective, we are reaping what was actually sown decades ago. Denial is not just a long river in Africa. It is what will get you all unalived. I don't usually change my language, by the way. Dead is as dead does, dead ducks. But anyway, wake up now. Mama T's telling you to wake up while she's longing to just have a normal night's sleep, am I right? The irony! But wake up we must, and stay in our bodies and fight for our lives individually and collectively with our little tribal nuclear families and our little groups. Fight to keep each other alive and aware and going, because we need it. We need all hands on deck. We need everyone to be well enough and strong enough to build a new paradigm for all of us. Okay, come on, this side. Just come on this arm. Why do you have to go on the arm that has to do the mouse? Don't chew the printer. It's probably got PFOS in it too. Don't, no chewing printers. Here I posted a YouTube video. Listen now before they silence me for good, titled, pardon me, You Are in Danger. There's some weird guy, I don't know who he is. Do you know who he is? If I show you the photo, will you know who he is? I don't know who he is. But anyway, I watched the video back in the day, but I don't remember. I watch a lot of videos. You know, I have time while I'm trying not to die of my health conditions. I have a lot of time. Time rich, money poor. Love redundant, since I keep falling in love with unavailable men and probably always will. For the love of all the gods. I am not fond of Elon Musk, nor do I agree with trans women who are not women trope, with the trans women who are not women trope, utilised by homo transphobes, but the rest astonishingly accurate. Well, biology counts, but, you know, look, just stop picking on stop othering people. If there's a trans person near you and they're not doing you any harm and they identify as a woman, how does that affect or impact on you? Just leave people the hell alone. Unless they're a fucking practicing pedophile marauding on your child, which, by the way, most of those types are straight married men, often from religious communities, by the way. Leave the trans people alone. That's all I've got to say about that. Current mood, artist unknown. Oh, I liked that. That's how I feel when I think about idiots that want to just pick on every single person just for being different. That's my current mood. Just leave people alone. Let them live their best lives. Let them find their talents and their creativity and whatever it is they're good at, their skills, their abilities. Let them just be joyous for as long as they're alive on this planet, because their joy is your joy, is my joy, is our joy, because, you know, when you support each other, everyone wins, everyone's happy, everyone's blessed. Not support each other in malfeasant things like the last epoch, though. I was not going to support that. No way, no how, never, ever, ever, ever. But things that are life-affirming and good for our planet and good for the genetics of our infant babies and future, I will always support that. Keep humans human for as long as we possibly can, people of Earth. keep birdies as birdies too. She says, yes, Mama, I rip all my feathers out, but I agree with you. I need to be more birdie than ever before because we're all under attack, Charlie. We are. We're under attack. We're putting stuff in our water, the evil, dirty bastards. Anyway, here we go. This was my first larger project after learning tapestry weaving. It's of my childhood home, Island Bay, Wellington, New Zealand. The island is called Tapu Te Ranga, which means sacred island. See, I come from a sacred island and I call my own home and garden here sacred space. Keep your own home sanctified and sacred and protected. And I spent many a sunny summer's afternoon rowing there in a dinghy with my friend Lynn. The fishing boats were and or are still used by the many Italian, I think they were Sicilian actually, Sicilian immigrants who fished in the Cook Strait. I often heard their foghorns on cold, misty, dark nights and or days. Island Bay was frequently slammed by icy, breath-stealing, howling southerlies that ripped their way directly from Antarctica, which played havoc with my weak lungs and asthma bronchitis. I'm grateful I made these nostalgic reminders of my childhood city before I emigrated back to Australia. They are constant reminders of my wild nature and the few rare and precious idyllic childhood memories that barely made up for my family of origin. No fucking idyllic childhood memories of those arseholes, that's for sure. Just got to see if you can actually see it, because what's the point of showing you if you can't see it, picture of Earth? Oh yeah, here we go. No, that's not right. Don't want that. How am I going to get rid of that? Oh, bejesus. Right, here we go. I got it. I fluked it. Don't know what I did, but I fluked it. Anyway, that's my tapestry that I made. I'm tossing up the idea of doing another one again. Still haven't done it, but it's one of the plans. It's one of the plans, Stan. Get off the bus, Gus. Make a new plan, Stan. 50 ways to leave your lover. Anyway, where was I? I'm not leaving my lovers. Don't have any lovers to leave, but my true friends who I consider precious and loving and kind and supportive of me won't be leaving you. You'll have to do something really awful before I leave you behind. It's been known to happen historically, but well, hopefully it doesn't come to any of that. I made this one in 1987, just prior to emigrating to Brisbane, Australia in 1988. This is my childhood home, Wellington, New Zealand. I was taught tapestry weaving by my friend and amazing artist, Tali Hookman Rudi, who is Israeli and whom I met as a teenager while waitressing in a famous coffee shop called Susie's Coffee Lounge in Willis Street, Wellington. Tali made a beautiful tapestry of the coffee shop clientele, amongst others. Her work was well received in Wellington. The Inter-Island Ferry there, crossing Wellington Harbour. I wanted to preserve those memories in my art. Charlie, you caught me a beauty. I'm sure I put a cloth in too. Where is it? Here it is. Oh, Charlie. I looked pretty before you turned me into a rainbow lorikeet art piece. Oh, anyway. Right, here we go. Yes, I know. You can't help it. I know. Look at her. She's looking at me. Scowling at me. Oh, not now, but she was. She was literally scowling at me. Charlie. Oh, never mind. She's only happy if she's with me. I haven't made a tapestry weaving in about 10 years. This was my last one. It's more than 10 years now. Yes, gaga. Then I posted a YouTube video, but I don't know what it is of, so meh. 4th of July 2022. Bitterly cold day today in Brisbane, but I am suffused in love 2 years ago. I've had some lovely chats with dear friends, Margaret, Nigel, and even Crystal yesterday. And today, Jared. Yes, Charlie. My neighbour from down the block brought little Coco for cuddles this coming. What? My neighbour from down the block brought little Coco for cuddles this coming also. I think that meant morning. Oh, dear goddess. She sat in my arms with her paws on my chest and stared lovingly into my face. Oh, I miss little Coco. I do. She was a beautiful little doggy. It's a shame they moved away. It was a Kodak moment. Sweet little soul. I wove my magic by making a silver ring. I devoured my lunch. I had another antibiotic. Now resting in bed as it's just too cold and I need to rest my lungs and my laurels, Mustang Quay must stop pushing herself so hard as I need every reserve of strength, both spiritual and physical and mental, to get through this current paradigm. Life is good. Be in the world, but not of the world. 8:35 a.m. Another day in paradise. I note from my memories that I was very sick on this day in 2013, a lifetime of very poor health. No wonder I feel so fragile lately. Not getting younger, isolated, sick, and disenfranchised in a dystopian hellscape. Vomited back to earth several times in the past 10 years. No wonder I'm getting darker, weirder, and even more anarchistic as I age. But I'm holding on to life, to beauty, to art, to my few rare and precious friends that also hold on to me, to my beloved ones. All of you, you know who you are. I'm looking forward to a better world. I will create it inside my soul and let it bloom, as within, so without. I just realised I have already been doing that with my creativity in the past few years, which I worked hard at, even though my body spiralled into its classic death spiralling. But onwards and upwards, what magic shall I weave today? No idea. I might have a practice with my spindles later if I have the breath and the life force energy. I finally heard from my daughter last night. She's had a bad bronchitis for 5 weeks also. Not good. Neither of us have had COVID, so what is causing our lungs to shut down? Probably the constant stress. 4th of July 2021. Patinated my rings, psychedelic dreamers world, and the Fae demanded we had colour. Oh, sweet, innit? I didn't really like them, I made them too dark. But anyway, the thought was there. The thought was there. Oh, gosh. I had another gorgeous day today. A lovely phone call with my longest childhood friend in Australia, that is, Margaret, whom I met when I was 9. My longest childhood friend, who I've really very rarely seen in the past 36 years since I moved to Brisbane, is Lynn Robertson, whom I met when I was 4 years old. So, blessed with wonderful friends in my life. Then a walk around the block with a lovely impromptu visit with Margot, Dave, Evie and Susie and Rosie, their gorgeous Labrador. So lots of cuddles from Rosie and a lovely afternoon tea of freshly baked banana cake. Yum. Matter of fact, I could do with one of those now. Oh. Then I stopped to chat with Elsa and had more cuddles with little Coco. Elsa, who passed away on the 2nd of April this year. She was, well, back then she was 92, but anyway, or 91 if it was 2021. Yes, correct, 91. Oh, bless. Miss you, Elsa. Charlie was very happy and excited to be out on our walk and kept demanding, kisses. Kissy, kissy. Where's my kissy, kissy? Such passion, Charlie. I thought she was a bit ambivalent, actually. I was practically having to beg. I begged no one for kisses. Bobo was thrilled to play ball with Dave. Dave, not my former lover, dead shit, nitwit, dreadlocked boy wonder, but my friend Dave down the road, Dave and Margot's wonderful husband. He's related to the ancestral tribe, or their name's Anderson, and my great grandfather's name was Thomas Anderson, and he was Scottish. So we've got the same Scottish ancestry there from that line. Anyway, they're a very kind family. They were very kind to me all through COVID, and bring the little children to visit me and brighten up my day, and it was delightful. Anyway, where was I? Bobo was thrilled to play ball with Dave and be chased by Rosie. The sun shone and the neighbourhood was happy and peaceful. Life is delightful. See? I thought it was all very delightful. But now they've gone back to the new normal. I don't see them. I see hardly anyone now that they're not faced with imminent threat hanging over their heads. They're all back to working away like beavers and nose to the grindstone. I guess if I get enough air in each night and have more energy, I'll be wanting to do more and be more too. Yes, I will. Oh, yes, I will. Right, here we go. Don't play with the printer. No, because they give off chemicals, Charlie. I don't want you licking the chemicals. It's not good for you. I want you to be a healthy birdie, because I need you to look after Mummy. Since Beauregard and the cats are all in heaven, I need my little birdie. If I don't have my little birdie, who's going to love us? No one. No one. I mean in my home environment, darlings. I know all my friends love me. Yes, my little birdie. Give me kissy kissy. I love winding her up sometimes. I wind her up. I blow in her ears and she's like, what's up? Don't you? Look, here we go. You show everybody how you hate it? Look. Sometimes she doesn't mind, especially on really hot summer days. But oh no, it's a bit weird, Charlie. Loving my rare 1901 Pan American spoon ring. And sourcing a few more of those. Yes. I know. You was a lovely birdie. You were, I know, you're my sweet little baby. You're my sweet little darling baby girl. My friend Laura Martin wrote, I love what you were doing. How did you get started with this? And I replied, some crazy person working in an op shop insisted I buy a pair of gold cufflinks and some silver cutlery and encouraged me to make jewellery with it. This was back in January. So I made an octopus out of a fork and that got me started. I was headhunted by a lady who runs the Bling Group who ultimately stabbed me in the fucking back, but there is that. What can I say? The humans are all dead. The humans are dead, as in evacuated their souls. Anyway, never mind. She did get me started and I'm grateful for that. Thank you, dead human, for the love of all the gods. She said my fork was quite good for a first attempt and members of her group could guide me as to what tools to buy and tips on how to make stuff. They have been quite wonderful. Yes, they were indeed. The members of her group were quite wonderful until they turned savage and toxic. When I told them that having warehouses of silver plate cutlery is dead money because if they die, it's ultimately of no real intrinsic value. So they got pissed off and kicked me out of their group. But I think they'll find I'm right. Make things out of real sterling silver, and at least if you pop your clogs, your kids can melt it down into silver bullion and you'll be able to sell it for the silver price. Or better yet, sell it for its true value as sterling silver jewellery. But they didn't like my practical, lucid advice. Thought I was being an asshole when I wasn't. I was merely speaking to truth. But that's what you have in this society when you have people evacuated out of their skulls and souls. They can't see the forest for the trees. When you point out to them that there's no sense in what they're doing, they get very, very upset. I was actually trying to do them a favour by telling them that, not to invest in stupidity. Says she who has no investments, therefore nothing to gain, but also nothing to lose. So, feck it if they can't take a joke, am I right? Although I wasn't joking, I was perfectly serious at the time and still am. Anyway, I replied to Laura Martin wrote, how serendipitous. And I said, yes, it was a bit bizarre, but also amazing. I had been putting out epic prayers to the multiverses that I need to find a way to monetize my gifts as I was struggling for over 12 months to afford lawn mowing or get reliable contractors. That was actually the source of all my worries, keeping this garden under control. So I hit on the idea that I need to buy a ride-on mower myself. Unfortunately, it will be a very long time before I could afford one, But that was the stressor that got me thinking about what I could do to try to get my own business happening. I doubt I can pull it off, but it was mind-blowing how the multiverses moved heaven and earth for me to get started on this. So I have really gotten my hopes up. Yes, baby girl. To you, Tanya. And then I wrote, you can create miracles when you believe, or something like that. Laura wrote, your creations are beautiful. You must have been a silversmith in a past life. And I replied, lol, no idea what I was, but I have always had very opulent tastes, so maybe I was a jeweler of some kind. I want to learn how to make bezels and gem setting down the track, which means I will need to get better at soldering. And my friend Jan Attridge, whom is in America and I know from Facebook too, like Laura Martin in Canada, they're both Facebook friends. She wrote, absolutely beautiful. So you see, I'm supported from people all over this planet who encourage and motivate me and boost me up when I'm flailing and admire my few little, talents and skills and abilities, and always are so loving and so soul nourishing and supportive. So thank you, Jan, and thank you, Laura, amongst all my other friends out there and on this beautiful blue marble spinning in infinity. 4th of July 2020, 2:11 a.m. I can't bloody sleep. What a waste of psychic energy. Thrashing in my doona, striving for the unconscious snoozing. I came across this funny diary entry from 22nd of July 2001. It's a long time ago. At a luncheon to honour the now late Joe Saragosi, who was a very generous patron and benefactor of our little Jewish community here in Brisbane, Australia, and actually for the last couple of years of my daughter's schooling at the private Jewish school, Sinai College, paid for my children's education, him and his wife, of course, because after my marriage failed and I was stripped of everything, I could no longer continue paying private school fees, so they sponsored me. So wherever you are, Joe Saragosi and Pearl, thank you for, wanting my children to continue in their education. I took Jasmine out when Crystal graduated to high school. So she did up to grade 5, and that's I can't remember, grade 4 I think, because it was grade 7 when Crystal started high school, something like that. But anyway, I supported my community and they in turn supported me until things got really fucking toxic after my divorce and losing all my money. Things went rather rancid, but the kids were educated for a bit longer, and there was a lot of nastiness about that even, and trying to humiliate me at an evening out. They called it an evening to remember, and I went dressed in a full evening gear because it's meant to be an evening out, and there was so much spite and viciousness put to me. And then one of the men from the board came to me and says, why haven't you paid your school fees, and tried to humiliate me at this evening to remember public event. By the way, he was a medical specialist in his field, so it was really elitist and nasty. So what did Mama T do? What does she always do? Went to war on their fucking head and wrote a scathing letter about my evening to remember. It was a setup anyway, because another now former friend had actually given me the free ticket to go to it. I think it was all done to kind of try and debase and degrade and humiliate me. It was so fucking nasty. But anyway, I wrote the most scathing letter about their disgusting, degrading behaviours. And then basically not long after that, I took my children out of that school. But up until that viciousness, yes, they had been very kind and supported me and my children, while simultaneously standing by doing nothing while they allowed their Israeli men in the community to attack and strangle me, by the way. Oh, well, one of them's dead, and the other one, I couldn't care where he is. I hope he's dead too. It's probably not, but it's ancient history now. But yes, anyway, I continue writing. Davidson, who's the dead mofo, had approached my kids while I was indisposed in the toilet, which was actually fucking stalking, and several other men, no doubt pals of his, had been staring at me. This made me laugh. My earth angels, always there when I needed them. And thank you. Eddie Berkowitz, who was a good friend of Davidson Devo, came up to me, asked me to come to a Beitar parents and friends meeting in 3 weeks' time, which was odd. Then asked me what my name was. So I teased him by telling him, I am the Tanya. Just drop the. He said, oh, the big T. Rodney told him that I didn't need a name. My aura preceded me and I lit up the whole place. Very kind of you, Rodney. That was Rodney Clunes, by the way. He's probably since passed on. But that was very kind of him, shoving it right up Eddie's ass. How dare he do that? Who are you anyway, when you knew perfectly well who I was? I told Eddie, see, I even have my own fan club, meaning Rodney, Alison Clunes, and Marilyn and Paul Efimov. We all laughed at that. We did indeed. I told Eddie, so don't mind me. I'm a little bit meshuggah. He said, only a little bit. I said, now, what's my name? Anyway, I enjoyed the quick repartee. It did my image good to show David how popular I am. I looked up later and saw Mark, surname redacted, John, fuckface, surname redacted, and some other guy, all standing in front of me, looking at me. Let's just put it how it really was, leering at me. Dirty dogs. It happens every time I'm enjoying myself. It must be my laughter that attracts them. But I smiled and yet mainly ignored the three of them. Weird that they never actually ask me out anyway. Rodney was teasing me about John, surname redacted. I said, he's behind you, so be careful what you say. Me always going to protector mode, am I right? Mama T, never fails. Protect my friends. I told them that I'm going to Israel to live. That was my plan back in 2001. Dr. Efimov, Paul, was horrified, told me to stay here. It's safer. But he's not Jewish, so he doesn't understand. I told them, I think he understood very well being a doctor, but anyway. I told them I'd been strangled 3 times here in Queensland, that at least in Israel they might give me a gun to defend myself with. I told them not to worry. I had no money to go anywhere with. It's just a dream, and dreams are free. I told them that I was looking at ending up on the dole and Housing Commission in a few years' time. Here we are. Fuck my life. So I'd be better off in Israel, at least there. They'd give me a job on a kibbutz or something. Also, I might find a Jewish husband, or at least my kids might find one. It dawned on me that I probably should have gone to Israel or anywhere on earth, but this sordid little squalid town which is infested with sociopaths. But I was trapped back then, and they knew it. They still know it. The last meeting where they were so snide about my shoes, a case in point. Oh, that was disgusting. In February 2020, another encounter with Eddie Berkowitz, am I right? Fuck you, Eddie, you low-life scum cunt, by the way. Don't worry, he'll just think that's funny. Or I might get a little letter of defamation. Don't tell everyone I'm a scum cunt. Why? The whole world knew it before I made this video, and they'll know it long time after, big boy. But anyway, it's just my sense of humour sometimes. I need to maintain my sense of humour because it's the only thing that keeps me going sometimes after the nastiness that I've endured in this community. Here I write, none of those dirty motherfuckers who maligned with Davidson broke me though. They did try for years. But I have a gift from the gods, a fierce defiance and a wry little dark sense of humour. At that point in time, I had just posted off my 44-page formal complaint to the Health Rights Commission, so I was in relative danger. I had a giggle about Rodney defending me though. It meant a lot to me, so accustomed to abuse was I. Wherever you are, I salute you. A decent man at least. I mean, his wife turned savage on me too at their daughter's bat mitzvah. It was awful, but you know, I remember that kindness. I weigh it up on the balance scales of life. I remember that kindness, Rodney Clunes. Oh, and by the way, I long ago gave up on ever marrying again, especially a Jewish man. Too many stranglers. It's true, too fucking many. I gave up on my daughters ever marrying Jews too. My daughter actually said to me, why would we want to marry anyone from this community after the horrendously awful way they treated our mother? That upset me greatly, as back then I still had high hopes that my entire life had not been wasted. But then I met worse men. They just kept getting worse. Jewish, non-Jewish, made no difference. I have become powerful in my mature age. I no longer crave a fucked up fantasy of a partner that might actually love me and treat me with respect and kindness. I finally got real. And now, my life is beautiful. I have reached a level of happiness I never imagined back in 2001. Ah, yes, I wrote this in 2020. Yes, baby girl. You shall continuously be happy and keep moving forward, onwards and upwards, prospering in all your undertakings, and one day, perhaps, a truly loving partner might choose to make a commitment to you too and, you know, cut all the charades and button pushing and teasing and stirring you up and cut all the bullshit and be real with you. I wonder if that's even possible at this late stage of life. What do you say, Charlie? She says, don't worry, Mama T. I will love you no matter what for the rest of my life. as long as the gods allow this little birdie to be around. I know, my sweet little baby. Where do you want to go? No. Where are you wanting to go? I need that finger. That's it. Thank you. It took my suicide attempt in 2015, partially calibrated by that vicious little worm in my community with his vicious little defamation threats based on nothing. Twat gobbler. It took my suicide attempt in 2015 to finally turn 180 degrees and flip the script, followed by a haunting from the aforementioned dirty motherfucker David Davidson in June 2016, and a new self-determination to be happy no matter what, as I paid too many hefty prices for my freedom. What are you doing, Charlie? C'est la vie de la Tanya, the Tanya. What are you doing? You're a sweet little birdie sometimes. Yes, you are. Very strange, Meshuggah little birdie, but your mother's a very strange, Meshuggah little mama tea, so we're a good pair. We balance each other out, don't we, Charlie? Yes, we do. Oh, and later my friend Gordon Senator, that would be Professor Gordon Senator, or Professor Dr. Gordon Senator, or he's got that many freaking titles because he's a very accomplished endocrinologist, former lawyer, that I forget all his titles. But anyway, very kind man to me too in my Jewish community. Very kind he was. And later my friend Gordon Senator also advised me not to make Aliyah to Israel. Ouch! As he said, it would not be safe for me. 2 doctors being protective. I was upset at the time, as it had actually been Geraldine Tamal's idea. She's trying to put me in danger, people of Earth, out of jealousy and envy of me, by the way. She thought I would have a better life. Or did she? Isn't it weird how she was really pushing for me to go there? And then Gordon Dr. Efimov took me aside, said, don't do it. Gordon took me aside and said, you are too ill to work, sustain yourself financially. There's no social security in Israel. You'd be stuck in some little kibbutz, working some tin pot job for very little money, being exploited. And you got strangled by 3 Israelis or Jewish men here in Brisbane. How do you think that's going to work out for you with a whole country full of them? I just looked at him and nodded and accept that. He said, I beg you, do not go to Israel to live, Tanya. You would be in perpetual danger, apart from the constant rocket launches and the wars. Said you, of all people, would be in danger. So I reluctantly took his advice on board and stayed in this God-forsaken, blighted country. Country spelt C-U-N-T-R-Y. But anyway, at least here I've been provided for with a home and a pension and good, kind people who support me as best as they can, with their powerful good intentions and their own, money. My psychiatrist, yet again, making sure I got proper treatment, since the public health system has systemically failed me over and over again. But anyway, here we are, fighting on, people of Earth, in this country, Charlie. This country. Australia. Upside down birdie. Upside down birdie. Are you my little birdie baby? You're not upside down now, are you? I quite liked you doing that. I didn't mind that at all. I know. You're being a little acrobat. At any rate, she and Uri migrated some years later. They were very happy there, but they had enough money to live comfortably anywhere, and I am glad I did not take my kids to a foreign country seeded with terrorists and the kinds of men who only want to fuck and strangle the Tanya. Rolls eyes. I am not safe anywhere. That has always been my reality. But I create my own life and safety and sanity out of the shit fuckery. Can you say shit fuckery, Charlie? Be funny if you said it. Shit fuckery, Mama T. And dust that was bestowed upon me for no good reason except I was clever and beautiful in my short hobbit's way. What are you doing, biting the mummy? You've only got one mama. You be nice to your mother. You be nice to your mother, Charlie. Here's a photo of the bow. The bow, the blessed, beautiful bow of the Tanya. Oh, I miss it. Can you see Bobo, Charlie? Where's our Bobo? Come here. Come here. Come here. All right, sit on top of the laptop then. Do whatever you want, whatever. I don't really care. I tell you what, that bird rings around me. 4th of July 2019. It's very cold. I was up at 7, then back in bed. Now the wind is blustery and cold. My mouth and throat is very dry. My side hurts where the drain was removed. I feel like crap, but my spirit dreams of going out, perhaps dressing up like I did yesterday and sitting in a cafe somewhere, perhaps walk Bobo. But I am too weak after yesterday's sojourn to the local shops. It is like living between the darkest night and the brightest day, being pulled every which way, choosing life even when life has been too vicious. Blech. Shake it off like a semi-drowned dog. That wind, though, stirs magic inside of me. Cold and relentless, reminds me that I must yet again rise and shine, lest I be blown away like desiccated, decaying leaves, unnurtured, unloved, unwanted. But someday I shall take my place in the cycle of life as compost, and the dust of my existence shall settle on other parched lips, unremembered, unremarkable, a whistle in the wind, signifying nothing, leaving no traces of who I was or whom I have been. I take comfort in that, this meaningless glide through life. I recount the moments of deep, ecstatic bliss when I felt valued and even perhaps loved. Enough fragments of a moth-eaten page to make a book of life out of. The silverfish surge with dirges of my existence, and the ghost in the machine alone knows my true soul and name. Behind the veil they gather, patiently awaiting. She who would not go down without a fight. They offer no succor. I am trapped in this hell and will not leave until I transmute it into beauty and paradise, into hope and love. A day, a moment, an eternity. The last piece of my mum's modular couch is still languishing on Cavendish Road. Hashtag the Horcrux that simply won't die. A lady took it for her sons and then chucked it out anyway. So I go walking the bird and the dog, and here I find this still waiting to be collected, like a few weeks afterwards. It was hilarious. I actually wrote, ha ha. It was bizarre, that couch. Oh dear God. It was a very nice couch back in the day, of course, but too many memories of a certain creature that spawned me. Oh, yuck. Anyway, 11:52 a.m, showered and dressed. I still feel very weak, but fuck it. Life is for the zombie queen / warrior goddess to keep on living. It's a bittersweet trickster, a liar par excellence, this constant struggle to juggle my beaten down existence. But it's only a game, and the only winner is the Holy One. I am just one out of millions of universally shit-kicked schmucks, the cosmic joke for the cosmic yoke. Feel sudden urge to yodel here. It's all bollocks until someone gets hurt. Yes, it is. Anyway, the wind is up. I, the fractalized Tanya, is up. Magic must be made, since love has long forgotten me. But all good. I had to learn to make it on my own, self-determined shade from Hades. No luck, no fucks given, yet still a saving grace. Pardon me. Kept me safe from worse men. A spinning declension, standing to attention, but up she rises. Not so hale, but hearty, even my broken heart still thrumming to an irregular stomp. Good girl, proud of her. I actually know where I went wrong, begging God many years ago to let me succeed in my own right without the betrayals of men turning me into concubine or bride. I wanted to stand on my own 2 feet and hold my head up high and look each and every oppressor in the eye and walk away proud and strong. But I was never permitted to thrive, not until recently, babies. Thank you for contributing to my thriving. Alter Egos, Ramjet, Brooklyn Standard, Fitzy's that I attended for the first time last weekend. Thank you to my psychiatrist and my urologist and my brave and beautiful and fiercely determined friends for the thriving at long last at my classical, well-documented 11th hour, by the way. It's been touch and go now for months, whether I was still going to be sticking around and surviving this long. Always another capricious, vicious monster to cast me back down to the turgid gravel rash of life. But in recent years, as I got older and weaker physically, now bear in mind this was written in 2019, 5 years ago, a force that even I have yet to fully reckon with lifted me back up, threw me back into the fray, slaughtered my spirit by day, but succoured me during the night, a wisdom born of pain and trauma and decades of immense suffering, the sweet gift of detachment. So here I am, another day, 9 days post-op, bruises on my drain wound, general weakness, reflux like a fire-breathing dragon, but alive. Unwrapping the gifts of each day while bearing the hurts of recent betrayals, push and pulling of energy, sliding through life like a wood snake that is my Chinese zodiac sign, seeking sunshine of heart and mind so I can lay myself out indolently and benign, breathing new life back into myself. John's former home demolished, land raped by the developer, every tree torn out. My heart aches. The tree sprites must be furious with grief. I will make them a small offering later. We have the forest behind us. Hopefully the forest fae will welcome those who lived at 24 Topaz Street. I am very weak today. Not surprising. Everything torn down at once. Here's the photos of my former neighbour, and when they tore down that beautiful, massive, ancient pine tree, oh, I was livid. I was so livid. And I could feel the spirits, the fae, the collective rage and grief at losing their homes, you know, not to mention all the wildlife that lived there. It was awful, beyond awful. 12:36 p.m. and also just after my surgery too, when I was already vulnerable to spiritual attacks like that. Fuck my life. But anyway, 12:36 p.m. walking the bow to the dog park. Long, slow zombie shuffle. But we will enjoy the day. And here I am, smiling into the void as I do, even in my pain and struggles and suffering. Just keep smiling, fighting, living your best life. Oh, Charlie, you've pooed on the laptop again. How do you manage to do so many poopykins? Just so many. It's a lot. Right, need to finish this because I'm feeling very dizzy. I need to lie down and watch TV and rest. Utterly knackered. I don't even know how I'm doing these videos for you every day. It's just something to do, I guess. Stave off loneliness and boredom. Well, I'm not that lonely, but you know what I mean. Just fill my day up somehow. Here I write, time doesn't actually exist. Time doesn't exist. Clocks exist. Time, I didn't write this, I wrote a response to it. This is a meme shared by Jan Ettridge. Time is just an agreed upon construct. We have taken distance, one rotation of the earth and one orbit of the sun, divided it up into segments, then given those segments labels. While it has its uses, we have been programmed to live our lives by this construct as if it were real. We have confused our shared construct with something that is tangible and thus have become its slave. Slaves of Father Time, people of Earth. Have you thought about that before? Because I have. So here I write, I never wear watches, not for about 25 years, which would be 30 years now. If I wish to know the time, I look at my iPhone or I ask someone. 4th of July 2016. Back inside from the garden. I cleaned out both coops, refilled their nesting boxes, food, water, etc. Transplanted a Dracaena that has lived at my front stoop for 13 years. Hopefully it likes being in the garden. I fiddled about in my worm farm and found a sprouted carrot and some pumpkin seedlings, so planted them also. Now a trifle knackered. I had a nap on the warm grass at lunchtime. Bobo lay beside me. We probably looked a bit odd just lying out there in the sunshine. But who cares? I also painted a second coat on my mannequin arm. Now just need to do the lettering, then have to wait 7 days for it to cure before I put it back in my fish pond. Yes, Charlie. Yes, little Charlie birdie. Oh, you're so sweet, you're so adorable, you're so smoochy, you're so cuddly. Oh, I wish I had someone to cuddle me like I cuddle you. But nothing weird, people of Earth, nothing weird. It's a fine line between pleasure and pain. If you do it once, you'll do it again. Something like that anyway. Now, where was I? Ah, yes, we read that. Bobo had his beef, like all good dogs, hard and fast, and under the table. I was sneaking him bits of roast beef, and he was very, very happy about that. He was a very happy doggy in that moment in the space-time continuum, Charlie. He was a very delighted dog. Socks and Sophie enjoyed our dinner. Tonight she got into the New Zealand butter, twice, even pushing off the lid. Then helped herself to grated cheese in my salad. Then, in spite of their epic naughtiness, de Mama and de Uncle Jared relinquished 2 slices of beef to them all, because I was full up and, well, look at those faces. Oh. The dog gods and cat gods of ancient Egypt demand their offerings. We mere mortals must know our place in the paragon of the gods or suffer pinch face for eternity. Ah, you gotta laugh. They are really gorgeous. Pinch face is Sophie's expression when she was mooching food, and Socks always sort of looked a bit kind of puffed up in the face too when he was mooching. Look at them though. Aren't they gorgeous? My babies. Here she's looking particularly pinched, and he's just like, give us the good stuff, mofo. And there's Bobo. You saw that photo before, getting things from under the table. Under the table, Bobo. Oh, there's a bit of Harvey in the foreground too. Harvey is convinced they got more beef than him. Oh, so sweet. Here he is, our little Harvey. Jared's dog is also in heaven now. But look at the 3 of them. They all look like gangsters. Give us our food, man. All right. My babies. My little babies, Charlie. Yes, I know. Sophie and... I repeated that. They are in pussy nirvana now. Yes, they were. Now they're really in nirvana for real. Oh, dear goddess. 4th of July 2015, 5:58 a.m. In the bath, unfurling like a hibiscus flower in champagne, only in Epsom salts instead. My feet. Karen and I met up in the city. We had dinner, then danced all night at the casino. We had a lovely time. Now time to sleep and restore my feet and my energy levels. 4th of July 2014. I slept all day, so when I woke up at 3:30 p.m, pardon me, I hit the ground running so the fur family could enjoy the warm afternoon outdoors. Oh, my lunch is repeating on me all of a sudden. It's lovely out there. I don't even have a cardigan on. It's really weird as last night was freezing. The grand bunnies out in the garden. And there's the two of them. My absolutely perfect grandkids. There they are. Suki on the top and Ramon below. Yes, cuties. Cuties, my little snooky, snooty, pretty cuties. Well, there you go. At Jared's new abode, we did a load. He's setting up his fish tanks. Slowly getting there. Oh, sorry, Charlie. I don't want you climbing the curtains. I didn't mean to knock you on the floor. Come here. Come here. Come here. All right. Do your own thing then. Oh, she's stubborn. My friend, whom I know from Pal Talk days years ago, Muir Matheson, who lives in Canada. Look at those bloody boys on the bikes. I've told them to stay off the road. Little perishes. They're going to get slammed into one day. My goodness. Muir Matheson sent me a meme. The writer's life. It's true, isn't it? It's so true. So absorbed in his writing, doesn't even notice he's being chomped on by a crocodile. Deadlines, publishers, agents, people trying to fuck you over. He just wants to lie on the beach and write. Am I right? I'm right. 4th of July 2013, 10:28 p.m. Just woke up. I visited Lynn this afternoon, my morning, after getting up at 12:30 p.m. I had showered and felt okay, so arranged to see Lynn. On the drive over there, I felt drowsy and sluggish, so we sat and chatted and I drank tea. We played ball with Puppy and Bella, then went to the local shops. Peter was home when we got back. Bella had done a bunk and raced towards Lynn's car, gleeful and mischievous. I stayed until 5:30 p.m, but felt so ill that I didn't stay for tea and drove home. I was in bed asleep by 6 p.m. That's 11 years ago, by the gods. So here you can see it. I've been struggling with my health for a long, which is why I was getting to the tail end of it now. Well, we'll see. We'll see what magic the CPAP machine might be able to perform for me. We'll see what magic Mama T can wrest out of life. And the greatest magic of all would be to have a wonderful lover man in my life, but we can't live in fairy stories. We'll have to live in the real world. I have to focus on getting stronger and stronger and stronger anyway. But on the other hand, I've waited a lifetime, so why wait? How's that for positive thinking? Anyway, Crystal rang me at 7. She was worried about me. I let her chat happily, my brain barely absorbing anything, lol. Then back to sleep I went. Peter told me how to rove the virus. What? Peter told me how to rove the virus I picked up on my laptop. Oh well, some technical jargon. I will try that shortly. Have a nice cup of tea, then back to bed. This illness has really weakened me. Oh well, I will be even more joyous and grateful for my life when I get better. 4th of July 2012. Okay, I woke up at 2:08 p.m. Psychedelic dreamer. Had interesting dreams this morning. I should learn how to make films and turn my nighttime processing into short films. Lol. And it's a pity I didn't record what the dreams were here, because I actually find that interesting when I read them again, when they come up in my memories. 4th of July 2011. It was such a lovely... What's she doing? Stop chewing the power cords. Suicidal bird. It was such a lovely day. I walked Ms. Bella Rosa to the post office, used my loose spare change to post the cost agreement back to the lawyer. Then I came home, set up my hammock under the tree and read for a while and fell asleep in perfect oblivion with the fresh air, the sunshine and rustling leaves all around me, blessing me with contentment and peace. I freaked out Miss Penelope Aarons, aka Penny, today by lying down on the pet bed I made from an old rebounder exercise trampoline thing and a round papasan cushion that lives in the backyard and notably has become mostly Penny's bed. I was quite comfortable looking up at the blue sky, feeling the warm winter sun on my face, but Penny was most unimpressed, which I found rather bemusing, given that she expects to snuggle up with me in my bed. So I discovered today that cats, in true sociopathic, narcissist and megalomaniac form, do not like sharing their own intimate space with human mummies. Ever. Get it? Got it? Good. Laughing out loud. Now I know what pussy button to push. I'm going to lie on her pet bed more often. Just 'cause I can, and I take orders from no one, not even my goddess cats. Laughing out loud. I wonder how long that will last. And thus concludes today's readings of even date, the 4th of July 2024. Have a beautiful afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the space-time continuum. Here we're just skirting around sunset. And yes, take good care of yourself. Remember, as always, you can stir up your pussycats, but never, ever, ever let the bastards grind you down. Just saying. And talk to you tomorrow. Goddess bless, as always. From Sacred Space at Titania's Realm. Bye for now.